Ariana Winters never expected to find an alien princess in her observatory's data. The young astronomer had spent countless nights analyzing unusual signals from the Carina Nebula, but this pattern was different. It wasn't random cosmic noise or the usual pulsar beats, it was a message, encrypted in a way that seemed to resonate with human DNA itself. "Professor Winters, you might want to see this," called out her research assistant, Thomas, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. The signal's frequency had changed, forming intricate patterns that resembled ancient Sanskrit mixed with quantum equations. Ariana brushed her silver-streaked black hair aside, studying the readings. At 35, she'd earned a reputation for unconventional theories about extraterrestrial communication. Now, it seemed those theories weren't so far-fetched after all. The message decoded itself before their eyes: to those who understand, sanctuary needed. Royal blood spilled among stars. That was 3 days ago. Now, Ariana stood in the rain-soaked woods behind her observatory, watching an impossible ship melt out of the night sky like liquid starlight. Its surface rippled with colors that shouldn't exist in nature, before settling into a crystalline structure no larger than a car. The ship's hull split open like a flower blooming in reverse. Inside, a figure lay unconscious, humanoid but definitely not human. Her skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, and markings like constellations traced patterns across her exposed arms. "Well," Thomas whispered beside her, "I guess this validates your tenure application." Before Ariana could respond, the alien's eyes snapped open. They were faceted like diamonds but held the depths of a supernova. "I am Naira Kval, heir of the stellar Concordat," she gasped in perfect English, "and my people think I'm dead." Ariana moved forward, her scientific curiosity warring with basic human caution. "I'm Dr. Ariana Winters. You're safe here." She helped Naira stand, noting how the alien princess moved with a grace that seemed to defy gravity itself. "Safe is relative," Naira replied, her voice carrying an echo like distant wind chimes. "My brother Riven has seized control of the Concordat. He's corrupted our bloodline with synthetic enhancements, turning our people into living weapons. I refused the procedure, so he..." She touched a wound on her side that seemed to shimmer with its own light. Thomas kept watch while Ariana led Naira to the observatory's medical bay, a facility meant for treating the occasional telescope-related injury, not alien royalty. As she treated Naira's wound, Ariana couldn't help but notice how the alien's blood seemed to contain microscopic galaxies. "Why Earth?" Ariana asked, applying a regenerative patch to the injury. "Of all the planets you could have chosen?" Naira's crystalline eyes fixed on her. "Because your people are unique in the galaxy. You're the only species we've found that evolved without external manipulation. Your DNA, your potential, it's pure, unbound by the chains of designed evolution. That's why you encoded the message in a way that matched human DNA patterns," Ariana realized. "You knew someone might be looking." "I knew you would be looking," Naira corrected. "Your research papers on cross-species communication, they found their way to our archives. You understand what others don't, that the universe speaks in patterns, not just particles." Their conversation was interrupted by a high-pitched whine that made the observatory's windows vibrate. Thomas burst into the room, his tablet displaying multiple atmospheric disturbances. "We've got company," he announced grimly. "And they're not using any known aircraft configurations." Naira stood, her wounds already healing thanks to her advanced biology. "Hunter-seekers. Riven's elite guard. They'll destroy this entire facility to eliminate me." Ariana thought quickly. The observatory sat on one of Earth's most advanced ley line intersections, a fact she discovered but kept quiet about, knowing how the scientific community would react. "I have an idea," she said, "but you'll have to trust human ingenuity over alien technology. The legends say humans once drove back an invasion force using nothing but stone tools and clever traps," Naira replied with a slight smile. "I think I can trust your ingenuity." As the hunter-seekers' ships descended like angry stars, Ariana led them deeper into the observatory's sublevels. Here, where Earth's natural energy lines converged, she'd built something that no one else believed would work, a device that could manipulate the very fabric of spacetime, using principles that bridged the gap between science and what ancient humans had called magic. The future of two civilizations now rested on whether a human scientist's crazy theories about universal harmony could stand up against the most advanced alien weapons in the galaxy. As Ariana activated her device, she realized that this was exactly the kind of moment that defined humanity, facing impossible odds with nothing but creativity and courage. The hunters were about to learn why underestimating humans was the greatest mistake in the galaxy. The observatory's sublevel hummed with energy as Ariana's device powered up, its nested rings of copper and crystal beginning to rotate. Above them, the hunter-seekers' ships cast crimson searchlights through the windows, their energy signatures making the air taste like ozone. "Your theory about harmonic resonance between dimensions," Naira observed, watching the device with fascination, "it's remarkably similar to the principles behind our quantum gates. But you've achieved it using materials found naturally on Earth." "Sometimes the simplest solution is the most elegant," Ariana replied, making final adjustments. "Thomas, status?" He checked the security feeds on his tablet. 5 ships, standard search pattern. "They're using some kind of energy dampening field, trying to disable our power grid. They don't realize we're not using conventional power," Ariana smiled. The device drew energy directly from Earth's ley lines, channeling it through crystals that had taken her years to grow in precise geometric patterns. Naira suddenly tensed, her faceted eyes widening. "That energy signature, it's a Pyrrhic protocol. They're not just here to capture me, they're going to sterilize this entire region." "Of course they are," Thomas muttered. "Because this day wasn't interesting enough already." Ariana's fingers flew over the device's control panel. "How long?" "Minutes at most. The protocol uses quantum cascade reactions to break down organic matter at the molecular level. Nothing survives." Naira's voice carried the weight of personal knowledge. "I've seen it used on worlds that refuse to submit to the Concordat's protection. Then it's time to show them something they've never seen before." Ariana activated the device's final sequence. The rotating rings accelerated, creating harmonics that made reality itself seem to vibrate. In theory, this should create a localized bubble of altered spacetime, redirecting their weapons back at them. "In theory?" Thomas raised an eyebrow. "Well, I haven't exactly had alien battleships to test it on before now." The hunter-seekers struck without warning. Energy beams of impossible color lanced down from their ships, attempting to initiate the Pyrrhic protocol. But as the beams hit the invisible field generated by Ariana's device, something extraordinary happened. The attacks twisted in ways that violated normal physics, forming Mobius strips of light that curved back toward their sources. 2 of the hunter-seeker ships exploded instantly, their own weapons turned against them. The others pulled back, clearly unprepared for this level of resistance. "Impossible," Naira breathed. "You've weaponized dimensional harmony using primitive materials. The implications." "Can wait," Ariana interrupted. "That won't hold them for long. We need to move." She led them through a maintenance tunnel that connected to a nearby cave system. These caves, she explained as they hurried through the darkness, followed the same ley lines that powered her device. They were natural conduits of Earth's energy. "There's something you need to know," Naira said as they navigated the twisted passages. "The synthetic enhancements my brother is forcing on our people, they're based on ancient technology. Technology we found in ruins on your moon." Ariana stopped. "What?" "Long before your species developed spaceflight, another civilization visited your solar system. They left outposts throughout your system, including a massive complex beneath the lunar surface. We discovered it centuries ago, but most of the technology was beyond even our understanding. Until now, Thomas guessed. Your brother figured out how to use it. Yes, but he doesn't understand the cost. The enhancements don't just change bodies, they alter minds, twist personalities. The enhanced members of the Royal Guard? They're losing their ability to feel empathy, to connect with others. They're becoming weapons, Ariana finished. Living weapons. A distant explosion rocked the cave, showering them with dust. The remaining hunter-seekers had regrouped and were systematically destroying the area, trying to flush them out. The lunar ruins, Ariana said thoughtfully. Could you get us there? Naira nodded slowly. My ship's quantum drive is still functional. But the complex is heavily guarded now. My brother has turned it into his primary research facility. Good. Ariana's eyes gleamed with determination. Because I have a theory about those ruins. The geometry of my device, it wasn't entirely my design. I've been seeing these patterns in my dreams since I was a child. Dreams about stars and ancient machines and a mission left unfinished. Thomas stared at her. You think you're connected to these ancient visitors? I think humanity isn't as pure or unmanipulated as the Concordat believes. I think those visitors didn't just leave technology behind, they left a legacy, encoded in certain human bloodlines. Waiting for the right moment, the right crisis, to awaken. Another explosion, closer this time. Naira's expression was a mix of awe and uncertainty. If you're right, it would change everything we thought we knew about both our civilizations. It would give us a chance, Ariana replied. Your brother wants to force evolution through synthetic means. But what if natural evolution has been leading to this moment all along? A convergence of human potential and alien legacy. They reached a larger chamber where Naira's ship waited, its crystalline surface adapting to blend with the cave walls. As they prepared to board, Thomas spotted something on his tablet's sensors. We've got more company coming. Big ships, dropping out of quantum space. The Royal Fleet, Naira confirmed grimly. Riven himself must be coming. He never could stand the idea of someone else finishing what he started. Ariana took one last look at the cave entrance, where the glow of hunter-seeker weapons was growing brighter. Well then, she smiled, let's go spoil his plans for galactic domination. The ship powered up, its systems responding to Naira's thoughts. As they prepared to leave Earth behind, Ariana couldn't help but feel that this was more than just an escape, it was the beginning of a journey that would rewrite the history of two civilizations. And somewhere, in the dark side of the moon, ancient machines were stirring, awakening to the approach of those who carried their creator's legacy in their very DNA. Naira's ship sliced through space like a thought made manifest, its quantum drive bending reality around them as they approached the moon. Through the crystalline viewport, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the void, while ahead, the lunar surface beckoned with its ancient secrets. Multiple contacts, Thomas announced from his makeshift sensor station. The Royal Fleet spreading out, trying to box us in. He'd adapted quickly to the alien technology, his experience with Earth's satellite systems proving surprisingly transferable. Ariana studied the lunar surface through the ship's enhanced imaging system. Beneath the regolith's gray monotony, she could see energy signatures that shouldn't exist, geometric patterns that matched both her device's design and the recurring dreams that had haunted her since childhood. The main facility entrance is beneath Tycho crater, Naira explained, her hands dancing over controls that responded to both touch and thought. But Riven will expect us to go there. The enhanced guards will have the entire area locked down. What about there? Ariana pointed to a smaller crater, almost hidden in the moon's southern hemisphere. The energy readings were fainter, but they formed patterns she recognized, the same harmonics her observatory device had generated. Naira's faceted eyes widened. That's impossible. Our sensors never detected anything in that region. How did you? The dreams again? Thomas asked quietly. Ariana nodded. It's like looking at a map I've always known but never seen. That crater isn't just another entrance, it's older than the main facility. Much older. A warning chime interrupted them as 3 Royal Fleet cruisers materialized ahead, their organic-looking hulls bristling with weapons. Naira's ship dove sharply, using the moon's gravity to slingshot around its dark side. Riven's getting sloppy, Naira observed, executing a series of maneuvers that shouldn't have been possible under normal physics. He's so focused on the synthetic enhancements, he's forgotten our people's natural abilities. The quantum drive isn't just technology, it's an extension of consciousness. As if to demonstrate, she merged her awareness deeper with the ship's systems. The crystalline hull became nearly invisible, matching the optical properties of the space around them. They weren't cloaked so much as temporarily stepping sideways in reality. The lunar facility changed him more than anyone realizes, she continued. The first time he interfaced with the ancient systems, something went wrong. Or maybe it went exactly as planned, just not in the way we understood. He started talking about evolutionary imperatives and necessary sacrifices. Classic mad scientist stuff, Thomas muttered, keeping his eyes on the sensor readings. Except with advanced alien technology and an empire at his disposal. They approached the hidden crater, staying in the moon's radar shadow. Up close, Ariana could see subtle differences in the regolith, patterns that would look natural to most observers but spoke of artificial manipulation to her newly awakened senses. There, she pointed. The surface has been crystallized at a molecular level. It's not just an entrance, it's a key. Naira brought them down gently as Ariana closed her eyes, letting the dreams guide her. She hummed a sequence of notes that seemed to emerge from her genetic memory. The crystallized surface responded, geometric patterns lighting up beneath the dust of ages. That's the same harmonic sequence used in your observatory device, Thomas realized. But how? A section of the crater floor simply ceased to exist, revealing a tunnel that plunged deep beneath the lunar surface. The opening was just large enough for their ship, its edges lined with the same crystalline technology that powered Naira's vessel. We need to hurry, Naira said as she guided them in. The fleet sensors will detect the activation sequence. And Riven, he'll know what it means. That someone with the ancient bloodline has finally awakened. The tunnel descended in a perfect spiral, its walls covered in scripts that combined mathematical equations with what looked like musical notation. Ariana recognized elements that had appeared in her device's design, but these were far more complex. It's not just technology, she breathed, understanding flowing through her like a revelation. It's art. Science. Music. Mathematics. All combined into something greater. Your brother tried to break it down into components he could weaponize, but he missed the whole point. Which is? Thomas asked. Evolution isn't about becoming stronger or faster. It's about achieving harmony, with technology, with nature, with consciousness itself. The visitors who built this place, they weren't trying to create weapons. They were trying to create bridges between species, between different ways of understanding reality. The ship emerged into a vast chamber that defied conventional geometry. Crystalline structures grew like frozen music, their facets containing what looked like frozen moments of spacetime. At the chamber's center stood a device similar to the one in Ariana's observatory, but on a scale that made her creation look like a child's toy. "Welcome home, sister," a voice echoed through their minds. On a platform above them stood a figure that was both familiar and wrong, Riven, Naira's brother, his once iridescent skin now threaded with cybernetic enhancements that pulsed with sickly light. "And welcome to our guests from Earth. You're just in time to witness the next stage of evolution." Behind him, rows of stasis pods held members of the stellar Concordat's nobility, each being systematically upgraded with synthetic enhancements. And above them all, a massive quantum reactor pulsed with power, its harmonics jarringly out of tune with the ancient chamber's natural resonance. The true scope of Riven's plan became clear. He wasn't just changing individuals, he was trying to force an entire civilization to evolve according to his corrupted vision. And now, with both his sister and a newly awakened human finally in his grasp, he had all the pieces he needed to extend his gift to Earth as well. The question was, could Ariana's understanding of the ancient harmonics, combined with Naira's natural abilities and Thomas's quick thinking, find a way to stop him before two worlds were forever changed by his twisted vision of progress? The ancient chamber's crystalline structures pulsed with discordant energy as Riven descended toward them, each step leaving traces of sickly green light in the air. His cybernetic enhancements had spread since Naira last saw him, covering nearly half his face and threading through his once pristine iridescent skin like toxic veins. "You still don't understand, do you?" Riven's voice resonated unnaturally, harmonics clashing against the chamber's natural frequency. "These visitors you revere, they were weak. They sought harmony when they should have sought power. Their technology has so much more potential when properly optimized." Ariana stepped forward, her newfound sensitivity to the ancient harmonics making her acutely aware of how wrong Riven's modifications felt. "You're the one who doesn't understand. These systems weren't designed to be weapons. They're tools of connection, of growth. Tools are meant to be improved upon." Riven gestured, and several enhanced guards emerged from hidden alcoves, their movements unnaturally precise. "Look at them, faster, stronger, freed from the limitations of emotion and uncertainty. This is true evolution." Thomas had been quietly working with his tablet, interfacing it with the chamber's systems through methods that shouldn't have been possible. "Got it," he whispered to Ariana. "The quantum reactor's harmonics, they're all wrong, but in a pattern. He's using the discord itself as a weapon." Naira's eyes narrowed as she studied her brother's guards. "The enhancements, they're not just changing their bodies. The discord is affecting their quantum consciousness, forcing it into artificial patterns." "Very good, sister." Riven smiled, the expression made grotesque by his cybernetics. "The consciousness your precious ancient ones valued so highly, it's just another form of energy to be harnessed. Watch." He pressed a sequence into his arm's integrated console. In the stasis pods above, the nobles of the stellar concordat began to transform, their bodies twisting as cybernetic enhancements forcibly integrated with their tissue. Their screams harmonized with the quantum reactor's discordant pulse. "Stop this." Naira stepped toward her brother, her natural iridescence flaring with emotion. "You're destroying everything our people are. I'm saving them. Saving all of us." Riven's enhanced eye glowed as he accessed deeper systems. "Humanity too will benefit from my vision. Their pure evolution has left them vulnerable, primitive. They need guidance. Structure. Control." Ariana felt something stir deep in her genetic memory, not just knowledge this time, but understanding. The visitors hadn't been trying to create weapons or tools of control. They'd been trying to create connection points between different forms of consciousness, different ways of perceiving reality. She closed her eyes, letting her consciousness expand the way it had in her observatory. The chamber's crystalline structures responded, their harmonics aligning with her natural frequency. "Thomas," she whispered, "when I give the signal, overload your tablet's power cell. That'll fry every system I've linked to," he warned. "Exactly." Riven noticed the subtle shift in the chamber's energy. "Attempting to interface with systems you barely understand? The human arrogance truly is remarkable." He raised his hand, cybernetic implants glowing as he prepared to unleash the quantum reactor's full power. But Ariana wasn't trying to control the ancient technology, she was trying to remind it of its true purpose. Her consciousness touched the crystalline structures not as tools to be used, but as partners in a greater harmony. The chamber's response was immediate and overwhelming. Every crystal surface began to resonate with her frequency, creating a cascade of pure harmonics that made Riven's artificial enhancements screech in protest. "Now!" Ariana shouted. Thomas overloaded his tablet, sending a surge of uncontrolled energy through every system he'd accessed. The quantum reactor's careful discord shattered, its artificial patterns breaking down. Riven screamed as his cybernetic implants began to fail, their forced evolution no match for the chamber's true purpose. The enhanced guards collapsed, their artificial consciousness patterns disrupted by the pure harmonics. "Help me get these stasis pods open," Naira called, already working to free the nobles whose transformations had been interrupted. Without the reactor's discord forcing the process, the partial enhancements were becoming inert. But Riven wasn't finished. Drawing on emergency power reserves in his implants, he staggered toward the reactor's main controls. "If I can't guide evolution," he snarled, "I'll end it. One quantum cascade reaction will sterilize both our worlds. Better oblivion than weakness." "That's not going to happen." Ariana stepped forward, her voice carrying harmonics that made the very moon resonate. The genetic memory of the visitors flowed through her, showing her not just what their technology could do, but what it was meant to do. She began to sing. It wasn't a song in any conventional sense, but rather a direct expression of consciousness through harmonic resonance. The chamber's crystals amplified it, creating patterns of pure mathematics and emotion combined. Thomas and Naira added their voices, instinctively finding their places in the harmony. Even the freed nobles, still recovering from their partial transformation, joined in. Each voice represented a different way of understanding reality, different patterns of consciousness coming together in something greater than the sum of its parts. The reactor's discord couldn't survive in the face of such genuine harmony. Its artificial patterns dissolved, replaced by the natural resonance the ancient visitors had originally designed it to produce. Riven fell to his knees, his cybernetic implants going dark one by one. What are you doing?" "Reminding these systems what they were meant to be," Ariana answered, maintaining the harmony. "Reminding you what our peoples can become together, without force, without control. This is true evolution, not the destruction of what makes us different, but the celebration of how those differences can create something greater." The chamber's crystals blazed with light, their surfaces showing images of possible futures, humans and the Concordat growing together, each species bringing its unique perspectives and abilities to the challenge of understanding the universe. The visitors' true legacy wasn't their technology, but their vision of what diverse forms of consciousness could achieve in harmony. As the light faded, Riven lay unconscious, his implants dead but his natural iridescence beginning to reassert itself. The enhanced guards were recovering, their forced transformations reversed by the chamber's restored harmonics. "It's over," Naira breathed, looking at her brother with a mixture of sadness and hope. "But what now?" "The Concordat will need time to recover, to understand what happened here." Ariana touched one of the chamber's crystal surfaces, feeling the patterns of possibility flowing through it. "Now," she smiled, "we build bridges. The visitors left us their knowledge not because they wanted us to become like them, but because they wanted us to understand what we could become together." Thomas checked his partially restored tablet. "The royal fleet's still up there, probably wondering what just happened." "Let them wonder," Naira said. "They're about to learn that true strength doesn't come from forcing change, but from embracing the harmony that exists in diversity." The chamber hummed with renewed purpose, its ancient systems awakening to their true potential. As Ariana looked at her companions, human and alien together, she realized that this wasn't just an end to Riven's plans. It was the beginning of something far greater, a future where different forms of consciousness could evolve together, each growing stronger through genuine connection rather than forced conformity. 1 month after the confrontation in the lunar facility, Ariana stood in her rebuilt observatory, watching a sunset that painted the sky in colors most humans would never see. Her awakened genetic heritage had enhanced her perception, letting her observe the quantum harmonics that threaded through reality itself. The Concordat Council is ready for your presentation, Thomas announced, entering with a tablet displaying real-time feeds from the quantum communication array they'd installed. After the events on the Moon, he'd become Earth's unofficial technical liaison with their new alien allies. Are they still arguing about natural versus synthetic evolution? Ariana asked, making final adjustments to the harmonic resonator she'd built using her enhanced understanding of the visitor's technology. Less than before. Having half their nobility experience forced cyber enhancement and then reversion tends to change perspectives. He smiled. Though some are still uncomfortable with how quickly humans are adapting to the ancient systems. The observatory's main screen activated, showing the Concordat Council chamber. Dozens of iridescent faces looked back at them, their skin patterns shifting with subtle emotions. Naira sat in the first speaker's position, her natural radiance restored after the removal of all artificial enhancements. Honored Council, Ariana began, 1 month ago, we discovered that humanity's evolution wasn't as pure or isolated as previously believed. The visitors who left their legacy on our moon didn't just leave technology, they left potential, encoded in certain human bloodlines. Not to make us like them, but to help us understand them, and through that understanding, to help us all grow together. She activated the harmonic resonator. The device didn't just project images, it shared experiences, consciousness, understanding. The council members gasped as they felt what she had felt in the lunar chamber, experiencing firsthand the difference between forced enhancement and natural harmony. My brother's recovery continues, Naira reported, her voice carrying both sadness and hope. As his artificial enhancements fade, we're seeing more of his original personality return. The discord that drove him to extremes is being replaced by understanding. The visitors knew that different forms of consciousness, different ways of experiencing reality, were not obstacles to be overcome but strengths to be celebrated, Ariana continued. Their technology wasn't meant to homogenize us, but to help us communicate across those differences, to create something greater than any single perspective could achieve. She gestured, and the resonator displayed the progress they'd made in just 1 month. Humans and Concordat scientists working together, each bringing their unique viewpoints to shared challenges. The visitors' systems responding to both species in different but complementary ways. We've already seen breakthroughs in quantum physics, consciousness studies, and interdimensional mathematics, Thomas added. Turns out having multiple species perspectives on a problem leads to better solutions than either of us could find alone. But perhaps most importantly, Ariana said, we've learned that true evolution isn't about becoming more powerful or more efficient. It's about becoming more connected, more understanding, more harmonious, not just with technology, but with each other and with the fundamental patterns of reality itself. The council chamber erupted in discussion, their skin patterns creating waves of shifting light as they processed these implications. Naira raised her hand for silence. Dr. Winters speaks truth that our people had forgotten in our rush to advance through artificial means, she declared. The ancient ones didn't leave us weapons or tools of control, they left us bridges. Bridges between species, between consciousness, between different ways of understanding the universe. And now we have a choice, Ariana concluded. We can continue to explore this path together, growing through mutual understanding and natural development. Or we can fall back into the trap of forcing evolution to match our preconceptions. She felt Thomas's quiet pride beside her, saw Naira's encouraging smile through the quantum link. In 1 month, they'd transformed from fugitives to pioneers, showing both their peoples a better way forward. The council's deliberation was brief. Their approval came not in words but in harmony, a spontaneous resonance of consciousness that rippled through the quantum network, human and alien minds coming together in shared purpose. Later, as Earth's second sun set, Ariana stood with Thomas and Naira in the observatory's garden. The crystalline structures they'd grown there pulsed gently with combined human and Concordat energy patterns, creating tiny auroras in the darkening sky. Sometimes I wonder, Thomas mused, if the visitors planned all this. If they knew that one day we'd need to learn these lessons about harmony and natural growth. Perhaps, Naira replied, her iridescence reflecting the crystal lights. Or perhaps they simply trusted that different forms of consciousness, given the chance to truly understand each other, would naturally choose connection over conflict. Ariana touched one of the crystals, feeling the patterns of possibility flowing through it. The visitor's legacy wasn't just in her DNA or in their technology, it was in the proof that different species, different ways of thinking and being, could come together to create something beautiful. The real challenge, she said, is still ahead of us. Learning to grow together without losing what makes us unique. Building bridges while celebrating our differences. Sounds like an adventure worth having, Thomas smiled. Indeed, Naira agreed. After all, that's what true evolution is about, not the destination, but the harmony we create along the way. Above them, the stars seemed to pulse in agreement, as if the universe itself was eager to see what humanity and the Concordat would discover together. Not as master and student, not as advanced and primitive, but as partners in the grand dance of consciousness and reality. The future was unwritten, but for the first time, it would be written together, in harmonies that celebrated both unity and diversity. And somewhere, perhaps, the ancient visitors were watching, satisfied that their legacy had finally found its true purpose.